right. So let me share my screen with you. So we'll be working with we'll be dealing with Python today, and basically our work will be on using Anaconda. Anaconda is the first software we'll be dealing with this time. So if you have a laptop, I encourage you, if you have a laptop, get your laptop out and go to your browser. Go to your browser and type download Anaconda, please. I want to make sure everybody is getting this. Download Anaconda. Download Anaconda. If you have you getting it? Please let me know if you have a laptop with you. Or if you don't have a laptop with you, you can probably watch this video to do the installation. So when you click on download Anaconda, it gives you this option. So you say free download Anaconda. Now, so when you free download Anaconda, it brings you to this page, right? So you can scroll down. We have start coding now, download. So let's click on download. So can you see? I have it. It's downloading already. Please, if you are following me, please let me know. If you have a laptop with you.
Yes, sir, I'm following.
Yeah. So if you are using Windows, I think this one automatically download Windows for me. There's also Linux distribution. There is iOS distribution. So you can choose which distribution you are interested in. Yeah. You can choose whichever distribution you are interested in. So its downloading is about 787 MB. That's going to be the software we are going to use for our Python tutorial. That's going to be the one we are going to use for our Python tutorial. So please, if you have it, if you guys are if you have any problem with that, just let me know, guys. Let me know if you have any problem with that. Let me know if you have any problem with that. So this is downloading already. So Anaconda is the software, is the first software we are going to work with. We still have some other software we are going to work with, but for today and for the introduction to Python. So today's lesson is going to be introduction to Python programming language. So it's still downloading. So you wait until the downloading is done. So let's give it some seconds. I think it's almost done, just 15-40 seconds. Okay. So Python programming language. So Python is a high-level general purpose programming language. So you may be asking me, what is Python? You know, it's not a snake, it's not that big snake that I used to watch on social media. No. So Python is just a name of a programming high-level general purpose programming language. So it's done. So you can click on the download on the exe file. Click on the exe file. So it's going to ask me. So you follow this directive. You agree to that. Then it can just me. It's recommended for just me if you are if this is a PC. Just click on just me next. Then it's going to look for the parts. This is the Anaconda. Just click next. Create a start menu shortcut. Just install. Okay. Please, if you have any issue with that, please let me know. Probably in the comment section, just let me know, or you can call my attention to it directly. Just let me know. Is there anybody working on that? Do you have anybody working on this?
Yes, Dr. Ewo. Mine from last year is still active. I just have to update it.
Just update it, yeah. Just update it. I want us to go more in depth this time around, as far as Python is concerned. Yeah, so just update it. So if anybody also haven't, just go to your browser, type download Anaconda. and you will see free download. So if you are using Windows, you choose the Windows distribution. If you are using MacBook, you choose the iOS distribution. And if you are using Linux, you can choose the Linux distribution. So it's still downloading. So I want to put, so let's start with the downloading. So as I'm saying, so Python is the high-level general purpose programming language, right? And sorry. So it was created in the year 1989. Yes. Python was created by, this programming language was created by in 1989 by a man called Guido van Rossum. Yeah. The man created it during Christmas in 1989. Imagine that. So he had the core goal of making it appeal to Unix and C hackers. So let's quickly look at that and we can open this. It should be done. Okay, when it is done, then you can probably go to your if you can go to your shortcut, or you can type Anaconda on the window. If you type Anaconda on the window, it's going to load for you. So let's see. Let's have a look at this. So I'm trying to open the software for us. I purposely want us to go through this software installation so that people won't have issues by the time they start doing this themselves. But I know it's very easy to download, so it's not a problem. Always easy to download. It's easy to download. So let's wait for this to finish. It's still installing. Let me close this. And on why is it taking so much time? Let me try to see this. Is that one working with you?
Mine
Yes.
hasn't opened yet. I think it's taking time downloading. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's just taking little time to download. And I want everybody, in as much as you are in a place where you can operate your laptop, please download the softwares and do the installation, please. Download the softwares and do the installation, please. I know it is soon for it should finish in a couple of minutes. Please download the Anaconda softwares. Download the softwares, please. I don't know why it's taking longer time. It's supposed to. Maybe I have to install on my phone, so let me to share this. While we're waiting for that, let me just give us a brief introduction about Python. I said it's a general purpose programming language and it's extensively used as a scripting language for developing web applications, right? So not only for web applications, it's being used for a lot of things, for data analysis, for writing game code, for different sort of things. So Python is very useful in that, and it's also extensively used in scientific computing. Yeah, scientific computing area is also used in that regard. There is an instance of data things. Okay. All right. Okay. So once the download finishes and you open the software, you are going to see this page. Can you see this page? So then we have environment. I think this is still loading somewhere. I'm trying to stop this. Okay. So environment. If you guys are following me, please. So once the installation is done, you open the Anaconda it's called anaconda.navigator. Then you come to the base root. Let's see. I have just upgrade the one I'm using.
It looks like yours is still loaded. That's why the
Yeah,
page
that's exactly. I'm supposed to. Well, I think the mistake I made was I tried to do an okay, yeah. So once you have that, go to the root. Now, when you open on the root now, you have open terminal, open with Python, open with IPython, open with Jupyter Notebook. So for easy work, we usually use Jupyter Notebook. So you can click open with Jupyter Notebook. Open with Jupyter Notebook. It's going to open that directly on your browser. I don't know why this is slow. Jupyter Notebook. I don't know why this is delayed today. This is one affect our time. Open Jupyter Notebook. I don't know why this is. I'm just giving us a little delay. Okay, so I think it's still loading. All right. So this is once you click on okay, because I did it twice. Let me close this one. Right. Can you see this now? I'm trying to move this. So this is
Yes.
yeah. So once you click on the root base, it will give you the option. You click on open with Jupyter Notebook, right? So when you click on Jupyter Notebook now, if you need a new Jupyter notebook, you click on this, right? And you can click on Python 3 iKernel. So let me click on this. It's going to give me a new workspace, right? Yeah, that's loading. Okay, yeah. So this is the Jupyter Notebook environment that you are going to work, right? But if you come back here, if you already have a script, like we are going to work with today, if you already have a script, you can open your Python script directly. So for instance, we are going to work on a script today on a Jupyter notebook that I already made. I have it already on my desktop, so you can go to wherever you save it, desktop, lib 23, then that Jupyter notebook is file is Python lesson, introduction to Python and data types and operators. So once you click on that, it will give you, it will open up that particular document for you. It will open
Where
that
will we get the document?
What's it?
Where will we get this document from?
I'm going to no, I will send this document to you guys.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I will send this document to everybody. I don't want you to be I don't want you guys to be working on this while I'm explaining. You understand? But I just want you to make sure that you get the installation of the Anaconda. So once you get the installation of the Anaconda, just listen to what I'm going to do, what I'm going to show today, right? Immediately after this, I'm going to send out this to you. You understand? Then you can open it on your own and work with it. Do you get the point? So I should have sent it to you guys.
Sir.
I should have sent it to you guys before now, but I don't want you to be carried away with it. Just listen to the explanation. Then at your own level time before next class, next week, you can sit down, work on this. I'm going to send this particular notebook to you. Right. Wow. So don't forget what we did. What we did, let me go back again. Once you open Anaconda, you come to root base, click on this, click on open with Jupyter Notebook. Once you click on open with Jupyter Notebook, it will open a page like this on your browser, whichever browser you are using. Once it opens, if you want a new notebook, you click on new, right? And when you click on new, it will give you this, right? But if you already have a notebook file already, a Python notebook file already, you just need to do is just navigate through the file, right? Navigate through the file. For instance, I have this on this file that I opened here. I have it on my desktop, right? I went to desktop, I went to lib 23, right? And you double click on that file. Once I double click on this file, it's opened up this for me. This is what you are going to do today. So I'm going to start with, we've spoken a lot about artificial intelligence generally last time that we met, right? And we spoke generally on the application of artificial intelligence in drug discovery and other stuff. So today, we're going to work basically more on introducing us to Python programming language. Python programming language. So that's going to be our focus for today. So Python programming language, what is, when you ask what is a computer programming, and when you're talking about computer programming, it's basically involve major elements. There is going to be an input, right? There will always be an input from your end that maybe you get your data from keyboard, a file, or other device, and there's going to be an output that this computer will process and give you an output, isn't it? You also have, like, talking about mathematics performance, so performing basic mathematical operation like addition, manipulation, and also some conditional execution, like checking for a certain condition. For instance, when you say open, if x is equals to 10, open, or if 10 is equals to 2, say good morning, for instance. So those are the things. So when you are learning programming language, it's like you are learning a new language. You are trying to communicate to your computer in a different and new language. So it is always good to see it as if you are learning a new language, like you are learning Spanish or you are learning French. You understand? So that is the way it is. So this first thing we are looking at the IPython notebook or called Jupyter notebook. So in this first session, we will cover the basic of Python. That's what we want to cover today. We cover basic of Python, introduce elements that will help us to get familiar with Python as an interactive computational environment for exploring data, for data modeling, for manipulation, and all sorts of things. So this material here is presented in an interactive environment that runs within your browser called IPython notebook. So it runs within your browser, even whether you are connected to the internet or not. Once you have an Anaconda installed and you have a browser, the moment you click on it, like I've demonstrated to you, it will definitely open up for you. So Python is an interpreted programming language, also referred to as a high-level language or as a scripting language. What this means is that when you write some command or statements that are meaningful in the Python language, the Python interpreter will read the command, right? Figures out what the intended computation is, and then execute. So Python is, so when I say Python is an interpreted programming language, means you write your command, right? Then the Python interpreter will look at the command you've written and say, okay, what are you trying to do with this command? Then it will process that command and give you a feedback and output. So if you do not write in the language, in the language that the interpreter understands, it will send back to you that there is an error, like syntax error, and to even tell you where exactly the problem is. Do you understand? So that is why Python is referred to as high-level language. So when you write a statement, a code to Python, and what you are saying is not, Python doesn't really understand, Python will come back and tell you, no, what you just did now, I do not understand. Can you please can you please write it in a, maybe there's a mistake? That's why you have to speak in the language that the interpreter knows. You have to write your code in the language that the interpreter understands. Are you getting my point now? So that's what I mean by it. Python is an interpreted programming language. So, and it's different from the low-level languages like the C or the C++. It's completely different. So I also put here some meaningful, so you can, for using Jupyter Notebook can be found on this link. So I also put this, I probably have this so that you can read more on Jupyter Notebook and all those stuff. Now let's look at the Python environment. There are several ways to work with Python code. One, starting Python interactive session from the command line. So you can start from the command line by typing Python at the command prompt, right? So if you work on, if you have it installed on maybe on Linux, you can just put Python there, type it, and start working. But in this case, we are using the Jupyter Notebook. You can also run the Python script file also. So you can probably run this script file on your command line, or the way we will generate, another way is to use the IPython notebook that we are using now. So I usually prefer to use IPython notebook like I'm using, and there's also this Google Colab. You can also use Google Colab. Also, there's a Python script for Google. For Google, we call it Google Colab, which you can also use as well. So now let's start with Python now. If you start with Python, now I want you to look at certain things. So when you are trying to do some things on Python script, right? The first thing, let me first of all introduce us to the environment. Now, this is this Jupyter Notebook. We have 5. So, for instance, if you want a new book, you can click on this. If you want to open a new book, you click on this. So let me click on this. You will see this is where I'm working. It will open a new one for me, right? So I'm cancel that because I don't need it. So you can also come to the file, and maybe after you've written your script, right? You can save it. You can save it, or you can download the file. You can download the file as notebook, markdown. But if it is a code, you want to use the code another time. Another time you can download it as notebook, right? So when you download it as notebook, you can open it on Python and you can work on that script again. So another thing is you can also edit. Maybe you want to delete a cell, you want to move maybe one cell. This is what is referred to as cell. Can you see this? When you write your code or when you write your word, it's referred to as cell. So maybe you want to delete it, you want to add more. Then another important thing on this cell, now, this is a cell, right? So on the cell, you can either write a code, right? A markdown or a markdown. Now, if you look at all these things I've written from here down, this is a cell, right? But this is not a program. What I have here is not a command. So when you want to write, maybe you want to write a note. when you want to write a note,
New information's in there.
let me please kindly mute.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Please, someone should Obina, I don't know, should mute, please. So for instance, I want to write Obina, please mute, right? It's not a command, right? So I can just click on this and put plus. Can you see it generate for me another cell? But I'm not putting a command here. I'm only putting instruction. So you come to this place and you change it to mark down. So mark down, if you want it to be a bold like this, a bold one, you can put 2 hash. You can say type please mute your microphone. And once you do that, you can either click on this run or you click on shift and enter at the same time. Once you click on enter at the same time, you execute that. And because you already mark it as markdown, the kernel is the interpreter for this. It knows that this is not a command. It is just a note. You understand? So it will give it as a note for you. Any questions so far from anyone? Maybe starting from the installation till now that is not clear. Any question? Do you have anybody with a question?
No questions.
Okay.
Sir.
All right. Whatever that is not clear, please let me know. Whatever that is not clear, kindly let me know. So that's that. Now, but when you want to write a command, right? When you maybe you are giving a command to Python. So in that case, when you click on this for a cell, you have to make sure this is in a code. For instance, when you want to print something on Python, you click. For instance, I said print hello world. So what this means is I'm telling Python to, okay, I want you to type the hello world for me. So when you want to ask Python to give you an output, you use print hello world, and it says it gives me. Now let me give another cell here. Now let me say print. Now I'm going to explain to you why we have this parentheses inverted comma on this later. So let me say I want to print. I want to print welcome to AI 2023, right? So that's the command. So you can shift and enter at the same time. Can you see? So whatever I've written here, that is what Python is printing out for me. So to execute the command on Python, you press shift and enter, or you can click on this run automatically. And if you want to add a new shell, don't forget, come to this place, click on this place, it will generate a new shell for you. And maybe for instance, you don't need this shell. You can decide to delete it, right? Just come to edit, right? You can probably look for delete cell. If you delete the cell, because I already click on it, so you have to click on that cell before then you come to it and you click delete. Is it clear to us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is just so just put or anytime you are putting a word, a statement, right? You have to put it in inverted comma, either single or double or triple, right? I'm going to explain why. The reasons for that. I think we have someone. Okay. Now, so let's go further. So starting an IPython notebook using Anaconda Navigator. So you can decide to install Python directly. You understand? But for me, it's easier to work with Anaconda, the IPython notebook. That's why I decided to choose. You can install direct Python on your laptop, but I prefer to work with Anaconda notebook like this. So if you are using the Anaconda Navigator application, you don't need to open a command line. Yes, if you are using Python, you have to use the PyCharm or the command line. But as far as the IPython is concerned, you don't need a terminal, a command line terminal. You don't need. Just select the Jupyter Notebook option in the Anaconda homepage, and you will be landed into the notebook right away, just like we've seen. So you can also read, if case you want to, for further reading on Anaconda distribution homepage on this website. Also starting a Jupyter notebook, more information, so you can also read it up here. Now, let's now go properly into what is called data type and operators. Data type and operators. Yes.
Okay.
So
It was filled at a different.
your first
spot.
now, like the example I gave before, if you look at it, I have hello world. So one thing about Python is in a single shell, you can execute a single command, right? Like this. Can you see? Or you can put lot of command. So let's say print hello world, print we are happy. Let me also say print welcome to LEAP 2023. So the moment you click on this, according to the order of the command, Python is going to execute that command one after the other and execute it once for you. Can you see? The first thing, hello, it is print. The first command we give is print hello world, right? That's the first one. Print we are happy. We are happiness. Welcome to LEAP 2023. Can you see that? You understand that? Now, like the example I gave the other time, this is a mark. This is so you can also, this is a comment. The Python interpreter ignores it. Now, when you write in a shell, if you don't want to make it a markdown, you don't want Python to read it, you can put hash at the beginning of it. You understand? So let me give you one example. Let me add a shell. So let's say I want to put an instruction. I want to put an instruction that working with Jupyter Notebook is better than working with the actual Python and with better than command line, right? If you look at that, it's a statement. It's not a command. And if I should put that working with Jupyter Notebook is better than the command line.
Head over so that was tell you.
Now, if you look at what I have here, if I should run this, there's going to be an error. Can you see what happened here? It says input in this line 5, working with Jupyter Notebook is there is a syntax error. Yes. What I have here is a statement. It is not a command, right? So for the Python interpreter not to see this as a command, to see it as a node, you have to put a hash at the beginning. The moment you put the hash at the beginning, you understand? The Python interpreter see this as a comment, and the interpreter is going to ignore this. You see that now? So let me run this shift and enter now. Once I put hash here, the interpreter knows this is not a command line, so it will automatically ignore it. You understand? Because it knows the moment I put hash here, it knows this is not a command line. So the purpose of this is when you are writing some program, because of future purpose, you may want to put some note. Maybe there is a point in that skill that you want to put down, you don't want to forget. So you put that note there, so that when you are working with that script in the next couple of years, you will know exactly what you have written. But it's not going to read it as a command. So comment are just note for human to read to help understand the code. So these are the comment are just the note that you put there, so that you can maybe in the next future or anytime another time you can know what exactly happened in the code. So best practice, add the comment to every couple of.
Is there some kind of opportunity there for?
Can you please mute, Obina? Obina, please mute. Obina, please mute.
What kind of opportunity is there for somebody to?
Hello, Obina, are you talking to me? Kindly mute, please. So it is a good practice when you are working with Python code to always put notes, right? To always put notes so that you can understand that script maybe in the next couple of days or weeks or even year when you are working with that script again. Now, so you had the amazed, you'd be amazed at how quickly you forget your code's logic. Yes, I'm telling you, you can easily forget these code logics. You can easily forget, but by putting comments, comment can help you to remember all these stuffs. So that's just few things about working with the command. Now, let's now go to mathematical work in Python. Any questions so far? Do we have anybody that is working, that is doing this on his or her laptop? Hello?
So we don't have access to what you're doing right now, but you said you were going to share with us,
I will
right?
share, of course, I will share with you. I just want people to listen so that when you are working with this, you can go back to the videos as well. Now, so the first thing here, just like normal mathematics, you can add two integers. When we're talking about integers in Python, integers are whole number without a point, without a decimal, right? So add two integers together. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. Let me add another one. So let's say 1,000. So 1,000 space, then shift and you put this plus sign on your keyboard. Space. Let's say 8,000, whatever, any figures. Once you do that, you can run it. Can you see it gives us the value? So this plus this gives us this. So when you add two integers in Python are numbers, they are called whole number, not number with point. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can also do multiplication, right? For instance, multiplication sign here is going to be the asterisk sign. Multiply two integers or more. 2 multiplied by 3 gives us 18. So let's do another one. So let's say 615 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 56 multiplied by as many numbers you can think of and run it. It will give you, can you see? It will definitely give you the answer. Do you get that? So in this case, it doesn't matter whether you put space or not. So it doesn't matter whether you put space, like I have here. You may not put space. So let me give another example. I purposely put all this so that you can just put, you may not put, you can decide not to put space, it doesn't matter. Can you see? It's still going to work, right? So another thing you can also do, you can also divide two integers. Yes, you can also divide. So in this case, we divide 10.1 divided by 2, right? So let me add another cell. So let's say we have this. So this is the sign so don't forget the plus sign is the sign for addition, the asterisk sign is the sign for multiplication, and the forward slash is the sign for division. So, right? So let's say by this, and gives you this. Can you see? So you can put space or you may not put space. It doesn't matter. Now, when you want to raise to power, maybe you want to raise a number, for instance, you are raising 2 to power of 4. So all you need to do there is to put 2, then 2 asterisk. 1 asterisk is multiplication. Don't forget. 2 asterisk is going to be raised. So let me give you an example. 2 raised to power 4 is this. Now let's imagine I use just 1.
Some people are surviving.
Please, Obina, please kindly mute. Obina, please mute. So look at the difference between this and this now. Can you see? 2 double asterisk 4 is 16, but 2 single asterisk is 8. So single asterisk is multiplication, while double asterisk is raised to power. You understand? So let's try another one. Go to plus and let's say we have 6 raised to power of 10, for instance. Let's run. Can you see 6 raised to the power of 10 is 6 raised to the power of 10? Do you understand that now? So also you can take the square root of any number. So the square root of or the square, for instance, the square root of 9, I purposely put this note so that it will be easier for people to work with. The square root of, so it will be 9 asterisk in bracket now is 0.5. And don't forget, square root is always that number is to power 1/2. And 1/2 is equal to 2.5. That's why it's 2.5. So let me put, we're looking for square root of, I think this one, it doesn't matter whether you put space or not. Square root of 100 is 10. Can you see that? Square root of, so you can, so that's from, we're just looking at mathematical calculation. Now, another thing we also have here is modulus. Yes. This purpose of this modulus is when you divide a number by another number, if there is any decimal point at the back of it, maybe, you know, when you divide, let's say for instance you divide 10 divided, so we say print 10 divided by 5, right? So 10 divided by 5 is what? Is 2, isn't it? So it's 2.0. So that's anything, if anything after point is what modulus is going to give to you. Do you understand? But let's divide. Let's now use 11, right? So their modulus is percentage by 5, right? So 11 divided by 5. Are you with me? So ordinarily, when you divide 11 by 5, let me use this example. Let me use this example to do that. 11 divided by 5, right? Okay, sorry. Yes. I think it should still be the same. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what that is, this is 11 divided by 5. That's 2.2, isn't it? So the number after point here is 1, right? And that is why we have 1 here for the modulus. So anything after decimal is going to give you the value. That's what modulus. So it's not as the modulus is not giving you. We know that 10 divided by 5 is 0. Is 2, right? So modulus is not giving you that 2. It's giving you the decimal point after. That is what modulus is giving to you. Now, another thing that we work with in Python is called variables. Yes. Variables are when you assign a number to a particular variable. So variables such as x contain values. So when you have a variable like x, like y, like probably like even a name, and you assign a value to them. So for instance, you said x equals to 5, right? So you can ask the laptop anytime you want to, so you already assign that anywhere you see x, it will be equals to 5. You can assign. So next time when you want to look at x, you can what anytime you want to know what is the value of x, print x. Let me give another example. Sorry. Now let's say y equals to 50, right? That's the command. Then if I want to, and next time I want to know, I can print in bracket y. It will tell me because I already assigned. So when you have a variable, there is always a value assigned to that variable. Do you get? There is a variable and there is a value assigned to that variable. Or you can also you can use, let's say you can say year, for instance. Right? No, I don't want to use year because I don't want that to be confusing. So I'm trying to look for, let me say, okay, age, right, equals to 20. Can you see? So you can print, can say print age, right? So your variable can be a single number and it could be a whole word, right? So when there is a variable, there must be a value assigned to it. So if you don't assign a value to a variable and you are asking computer to print it, the Python to print it, it won't. For instance, now, if you look from here to here, there's no variable called A. Now let me now say print A. Let's look at the error message. Can you see? A, name A is not defined. So you have to first of all assign the value to a variable before you can ask it to print. Do we get that? Any questions so far? Is it clear? Is it straightforward?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, thank you. So please feel free. I purposely put this error so that you first of all assign. Let me put that. Assign a value to a variable. So if you do not assign a value to a variable, okay, first assign a value to a variable. So if you do not like this now, all this we have, if you look up, there's nowhere where we say A is something. So when you print A, it will tell you A is not what? It's not defined. You understand? So you can also perform operations in variables, right? We said our X is what? 5. So you can say X plus 3 to give you 8, because automatically we already said X equals to 3. So let's say Y plus X. Y plus X, 55. So you don't need to be putting 55 every time because you already assign a value to variable Y. So what the interpreter will do is, have you defined Y? What is Y? 50 plus X. What is X? X is 5. It automatically add them together. But if you do not define your variable like that, let's say I'm saying Y plus A. Sorry, plus A. If you tell me there is an error because A is not what? It's not defined. So you can add them together. Let me do the last one. Let's say H plus Y. It will work because you already defined what H is, isn't it? Now, so at times maybe what is the value of X? Maybe you are doing some calculation and at a point you don't know what is the value of a variable. Okay, what is the value of X? For instance, you can just type X and click on it, it will give you the value. So let's say let's say what is the value of Y? We don't know. Once you put Y and you run, it will give you 50. It will tell you. So about Y, instead of you scrolling down to the beginning of your script, looking for the value of Y or the value of whatever variable that you have, just type the variable and run your script. It will tell you what the value is. You don't have to go back and start looking at it. Now, you can also update. Yes, you can update your variables. You need to do an assignment again. So you can update. Initially our X is equals to Y. Our X is equals to 8, right? So you can decide to say, okay, I want to update my X. Let my X equals to X. Maybe you want to increase your X by 3. Maybe your X is 5. Now you want it to be 8. So you can say X equals to X plus 3. So when you print this, it will give you can print what is X. So it will tell you X is what? It's now. You understand? Let's update our Y, for instance. So what is Y? Our Y is 50. Now we want to make it to be 150. We want to make our Y to be 150. So we can say Y equals to Y plus 100, right? Run the script, then let's print it. Let's put Y now. So see, so our Y is no longer 50. Our Y is now 150 because we already update it. So you can also use this to, maybe you have two variables. For instance, I can say, okay, A equals to Y plus X. right? Then I told you can make a single, you can write, so tell me what is y. Can you see? What is a rather? So the first command you do is a equals to y plus x. Don't forget y is 150, x is what? 8. So if you assign x plus y will equals to a, and I, okay, what is a? It is a is 158. Are we getting that? So the next thing, you can also create a new variable y from an operation on x. Yes, like we have done here, right? So like what I've done here, I can if I say x is equals to 5, y is equals to x multiplied by 2, it will update my y, right? I don't want to update that because we already assigned it. So you can assign a new variable by making an operation on an existing variable. You understand? So that's that. So okay, let's just do. So our x is equals to 5. Now we are assigning x to be 5, y to be x raised to power 2, and print y. So now our y is now, our x is now 5. Our y is now 5 times 2. That's 10. So if you print, so outputting multiple line only display the output from the last line. When you put multiple line, this is just a single code. It only work on one. You can see we put it all over themselves. It only printed y only. It's not going to print x and y. It will only print y only. But if you want it to print the two, you have to put print. Can you see the difference between if you put only x, y, it will read it truly, but it will only print the last one. Do you see that? But if you put print x, print y, it will print the two for you. Print x, print y. It will print the two value 5 and 10 you in this order. If you want it to be on a single line, on a single column rather, so you can put print x, comma, y, comma. So let's do this. Let's put print a, y, and x. Can you see? A, y, and x. Can you see that? So a first, followed by y, followed by x. So please give me 1 second. Let me take a check. So please, any questions so far? Is it clear? Is everything straightforward?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I want everybody to be involved with this, not just one, but everybody. Please, I want everybody to be involved with this. I will send you these scripts for practice. Do your Anaconda installation. Please do your Anaconda installation. And on that channel where I used to drop the videos, there is, I think we made the videos last time on how you step by step to download Anaconda. Okay, so let's proceed now. So you can also print the result of an expression. If you want to print the result of an expression, you can also print x multiplied by 5 by y, sorry, by y. So don't forget our x is 5, our y is 10, that's 50. Now, so that's working with variables now, right? So the next thing we are looking at is getting help. Getting help. There are a lot of functions in Python, like print. So when you want to look at a function and you don't know how to use it, you can type it on the command line and ask for help. So for instance, when you want to look at length, you can just, what you need to do is put a question mark. So the function you want to use, and put a question mark, it will tell you what it is for. Do you understand? So it will, okay. It will then tell you what that is what it's for. Let me see where this is. So let's put a question mark. That is not showing. Okay. Oh, why did I do this? Okay. Okay, sorry. I don't know. When did I do this? Okay, yeah. So because so can you see once you put the question mark, like how do you use the length? It will tell you this is how to do length, then in bracket put the object or the variables you want to work with, right? Now, what is the rule? It says it return the number of items in a container. Can you see? So the first thing is to tell you how you can write the script. The next thing is telling you the function. It's for string, it's returning the number of items in a container. Let's use that. Let's do an example. So let's say, len, and let's put good morning. Now, so what that means, this is len. It's from length. So what is the number of, it should tell you what the number of character or item. So if you count this from D1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the space, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12. So when you are filling some form online, they will tell you it shouldn't be more than so number of words, right? Am I correct? Have you experienced that when you filling any form online?
Yes, sir.
Before? Yes. So they use this. So they will have said that, okay, the number of lengths that you are going to put in that space shouldn't go beyond a particular line. They will have set it in the code. So when you use, that's length, it will tell you the length, the number of items in a character. And that's what you say. What you need to do is length in bracket that container or the variable there. It will return the length for you. When you know of a function, maybe width, print, or any other functions which we are still going to work with, and you don't know how to write the command, maybe you are writing the command and it's giving you error, you can seek for help by putting a question mark in front of it, and it's going to give you answer. So let's look at print also. Can you see print? Can you see it gives us a description here? Print value. So you can say print value. So this value means you can put a value here and put multiple values and some other functions too. It's going to print for you. So that's now. Let's also work with now. App completion also work with variables you have created already. Now, let's set this. Now let's assign a variable. Let me say number of students in leap, right? Equals to how many we have 17 on this call right now. 17, right? Now, next time when I want to work, because I've already assigned this, when I want to use that number of students, I don't need to write everything. You understand? To the end. Once I just write few letters and press tab, it automatically complete it for you. Do you get that now? So what I only did was to write just few number and press tab. So that's why I said tab completion also work with variables you have created. So if you have not created the variable, that is not going to work. Please take note of that. So because I've already created that and it's completed. So let me now look for a variable that I have not created. Let's say I put student, and I press tab. It's not going to, actually, I'm pressing tab now. It's not going to work because I have never saved any variable with tab. And that is what this means. Use tab completion to fill in the rest statement. Sorry. Tab completion also work with variables you have created. So if you have not created the variable, it is not going to work. It is not going to work. Yeah, so let me delete this. I believe this is, are we getting this? Okay, what about errors? You can't divide by 0. We all know mathematics, you cannot divide any numbers by 0. So when you have, can you see, when I say 12 divided by 0, it is 0 division error in input 69. This is the input 69. Input line input line 69 in cell this cell 2. So this is the cell 1, cell 2. So when you are working with Python, maybe you have a log script in a cell and there is an error. Python will tell you where the error is. It will tell you the type of error, the line where there is problem, you understand, and the type of error. You understand? And we tell you division by 0, which is not, nobody, you don't, no division by 0, right? So that's that. Now, so for syntax error or how to do something, Google it. So there are times when you have syntax kind of error, and you keep asking yourself, what is the problem? One of the best way people do is you can copy that error like this, copy it and put it on Google, right? Or there are some computational language programming group like Stack Overflow. It's a good site for code snippet and troubleshooting. So when you face challenges like this, you can copy them on Google. With people already, whatever you are encountering on Python or any programming language, people already encounter the same thing. And if you put it on Google, Google will give you their problem and the way they are able to solve it. Any questions so far? I hope everything is moving fine. Any question, anywhere that is not clear, please feel free to call my attention into it. Anywhere that is not clear, guys.
Yes, I got a question. Okay, so this is similar to the program R, right?
No, this is not the same as R.
No, is it like similar though? Like when like how you input all the and the input keys and everything. It's kind of similar to R.
To yours?
No, to R, to the software R. Python. That Python
Yeah,
is
yeah.
one.
Oh no. There are little similar. That's what I'm saying. There are little similarity and there are major differences.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are some similarity. Yes, there are little differences between them. So they are not 100% the same, and they are not 100% different. Do you understand my point?
Yes. Okay. What's our mission to like to input these into what?
Yeah, thank you. When you are developing a lot of, for instance, when you can use this Python to work on the development of drugs, right? Now, when you are writing the code, you have to understand the basic of this, because this basic will be required for you to write a complex. It's just like you want to understand grammatical English, but you don't know alphabet. Do you understand my point?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just the basic and introduction to Python. And that is how we build on this till we get to the complex parts. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, I understand now.
Okay. Any other question from anybody? I really like that question. You may be asking, what is the purpose of this? Yes, we are going somewhere, but you have to start from somewhere before you get somewhere. Any other question, please? Okay, so let's go to basic data types. So there are different data types in Python, and different data types require different approaches. Yes, different data types. So data in Python is interpreted as having a type. So there is data type. What type of data are you giving to the command? There are different type of data, and there are different approach to each data. So in low-level compiled language like C, C++, the programmer has to explicitly declare the type of each variable before using it. But in Python, the type is inferred at runtime. So automatically when you run it, the interpreter will know what type of data are you working with. Now, the first type of data are called the integers. Integers are whole number. They are what? Whole number. So like 100, 200, 500, as far as there is no point at the back of it, they are referred to as integer. So, and if you can also, okay, so in this case, we have, what is the type of 125? It says int. When you see int, it means integer. Int, integer. We look the other time. I type number of students, right? Number of students. If I want to ask what is the type of this variable, this data type in number of students, can you see? It says integer. And don't forget, the value of this number of students in leap that we have up is what? It's 17. Let's look at that. 17. 17 is an integer. Did you get that now? So when you have whole number 10, 20, in as there is no point, you understand, is an integer. Please, I want you to take note of this basic data type. The first one we spoke about now is the integer, a whole number. Good. Now, the next one is what is called a float. A float is a floating point or decimal number. So when you have point something, that is no longer an integer. It is now what? A float. So if you look at this script, it says sum underscore rate equals to 4.3. If you want to ask what type of data is this, type in bracket that variable. It will give you, if you look at it, it says it's a float. Can you see? It's float. So let's give another example. Let's say student, let's say average student age. The average student, let's see, the average student age on this call is 23.67, right? So at times you may want to ask yourself, what type of data is this? Just put type. What type of data is that? AVG tab, it will complete, run it. Can you see? It says what? Float. So integer is a whole number. Float is when there is a decimal point at the back of it. Another data type that we also have is the string. The what? The string. Now, the string is any number, any value that is in comma, inverted comma. Any number that is in inverted comma. For instance, we have s equals to, you see the up comma ABC, right? When you type it, what type? It is string. So int is int, float is full float, string is str. Did you get that now? Now let me tell you. So let me show you one thing. So let's say year, for instance, equals to, I can put this in comma and say 2023. Now, you see, this year is different from, let me put another one, please. I want you to get this. Year equals to 2023. Now, if you look at these 2 years that are, let me put this one is a string, because I already have it in comma, and that is why it's giving you red, right? But this one is integer. Can you see that? So when I type, what is the type for this? For this year. Okay, let me put this one here. Let me put it here. 1. Now, can you see what it says? It says string. Now, if I do for type year 1, it says it's an integer. So anytime you are writing a string is when you want anytime you are writing a string that is not going to be it's not a number, it is not a float, right? Like you want to write a word, how are you doing? So how are you doing is not going to is going to be a float, and you have to put them in that inverted comma. Do you understand my point? Now, so can you see the difference between, so if it is an integer, you can multiply it. But if it is a string, if it's an integer or float, you can multiply, you can do mathematical function on it. But if it is a string, you cannot do that. I hope we are going to get to that. Is this place clear to us? This data type that we're talking about, integer, a whole number. Float is when you have a whole number with decimal point. String is when you have string are a string of characters. They are string of characters like good morning. In like when you have letters, or when you have numbers in inverted commas, letters in inverted comma, or numbers in inverted commas. Okay. Now, another data type that we have is what is called a list. A list is a collection of elements denoted by square brackets. A list is a collection of elements denoted by a square bracket. So in this place, I have my list equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this is not a number. This is not a number. This is a string, and that's why I is in inverted comma. So when you do that, you ask it my list to give you my list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me do another one. So let me call another let me call another age. Let's say h2 equals to, so let's say the age of everybody, the age of individual on this meeting, on this group is 23, 56. And nobody is 54 here. I'm just typing any number. Can you see? Do you see this now? So once you have this when you have this bracket, you are making a list. So you can decide to say, okay, what is that list? Age. There are two age. They have ordinary age. You have age. So it will give if you have two variables with very close name, and you press tab, it will give you the list and to ask you which one. You can just scroll down. In this case, I want the h2. You just use the up and down key, the one that you want to pick, and press enter. Right? So let me run. So can you see? It's telling me h2. So if you want to ask yourself, what is the type of my list? Type of my list, yeah, it says is a list. Let's look for the type of h2. Type for h2. It's also list. So anytime you save a list of number, maybe the age of people in a class, the year of certain things, or anything that has a lot of variables in it, character in it, and you have to put it inverted comma to make it a what? A list. So can you see the difference between integer, float, a list, and a float, integer, string, and list? Okay. Any question, please, from anybody so far? Any question? Any question? Is it clear? If
Yes,
anything
sir.
is,
Yes,
if anything
sir.
is not clear, please feel free to call my attention to this, please.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. Now, so now we can also, there's also called what is called a dictionary. Dictionary. That dictionary is close to a list, but it is a collection of key and value, right? So let's say for instance, a dictionary is a collection of key and value pair denoted by a curly braces. Don't forget, for list is square bracket, but for dictionary is a curly braces, right? I will give an example here. So let's say there is you want to save the name of people, right? This person we have its first name, because this is a string, right? You have that to be in inverted comma. This is his first name is Geoff, space, comma space. His last name is Boeing. You understand? So you can, so that means you automatically save the key here is first name. So the key here is first name, and the value to the first name is 0. The same place, the key here is last name, and the value is Boeing, right? And you can keep that, it will give it to you. When you type of person, that means what is the data type? It will tell you dictionary. Dictionary is DICT. Let's do another example. Let's say, let me look for one example. Let's use word and opposite. Yes. Let's say word. When you want to make a variable, listen to this, please, in Python, and it's more than, you want to use more than one word and opposite. Don't use this. This in Python, this dash is a command. So what we mostly is underscore. Always use when you want to have a variable that has many names. So word and opposite. Word and opposite. So I want to make a word and opposite dictionary, right? So let's go to this. So let's say, don't forget their string. So let's say boy, right? Then colon. The opposite of boy is girl. Am I correct? Okay, comma, space. Let's say tall. Always put it in bracket because they are string. Tall. Right? Short. Let's say white. Black. So let's just stop there. Right? So I can, let's print word. You see, I just type half and click tab. So let's run this. Can you see? So automatically it assign. So we already had word and opposite: boy, girl, tall, short, white, black. As long as you want your list to be. Do you get that now? So if you want to, let's look for the data type. Let's see type of word and opposite. It tells us it's a dictionary. Can you see that now? It's what? It's a dictionary. So please, do we get this now? So dictionary is different from list. List is when you have a lot of characters or variables assigned to a lot of values or character assigned to a single variable, and with in a square bracket. That's list. But when you have keys and value, in this place, the key is boy, the value is girl. Tall is the key, the value is short. And you have it in a curly bracket. That is for dictionary. Are we getting it? We still have, I think we have like 20 something minutes. I always want us to finish by 5 minutes to 6. Okay. Any questions so far?
It's clear so far, Dr.
Okay. I don't know if any other person, hope is clear. I want to let everybody be carried along. Okay. So now, for Python data types, if I also put this, you can click on this to read more on those data types. Yeah. So now working with data types now. So like I said, different data type and different approach of working with them. Please take note of that. The way you are going to work with integer is different from the way you are going to work with string. And let's look at that. So you can do you can divide, you can do any, you can divide two integers and you get an integer, right? You can divide an integer with an integer and you will get an integer. So now, now we assign to this variable num1 equals to 10, num2 equals to 5, right? So so we said what is if we divide num1 divided by num2, that's going to give us, okay, let me first of all take this out. So let's divide it. Okay, sorry. So let's ask, no, sorry, I'm supposed to divide it first. Let's first of all divide before we assign. Let's divide it. Now, when we divide 10 divided by 5, that's num1, 10 divided by num2, 5. What is the value? 2 point what? 0. Is this a float or an integer? Is this a float or an integer? Nobody's responding.
An integer?
It should be a float.
It's a float. Because I told you a float, an integer is when there is no decimal. But what we have here shows there is decimal. So it's going to be a float. So if you want to confirm, let's click on type. Type num2. It's a float. Right. So another example, num1 equal to 8, num2 equals to 5. When you divide it, it's 1.6. Right? If you type it, it's going to give you that this is a float. Right. Fine. So so with float and integer, you can perform mathematical operation because they are all numbers, right? Don't forget that they are number. So we really wanted to be dividing all floating point number because we want a decimal result. So if you want to, you can also ask for, you can put your whole script. So num is equals to 8.0 print type, num2 equals to 5 print type, num3 equals to this print type. So that's why we're having, so you see class for the first one, if you look at this one is what? 8.0 is the float, right? Num2 is what? 5. It's not, there's no point at the back of it. So it's an integer. And when you divide this to get 8 divided by 5, it's going to give you something. That's 1.6. And that is what? That is a float. Do you get that now? So you can perform mathematical operation with, you can multiply, you can divide, you can square root, you can do anything with float and integer because they are number. Now, let's go to string. Some of the operators we saw earlier work on strings. Now, let's look at, let's assign, now we want to look at, let's say we have CD. We have, don't forget in CD, okay, let me, okay. So CD, we have Bartley. Don't forget, when you are putting a word like this, letters like this, it has to be in bracket, right? Because if it's not in bracket, it's not going to work. Because this is not good. We must see it as a string, rather. Yeah. Then we also have separation. If you want to separate them, comma, we have, can you see the comma in bracket? State, California, zip code, this, right? Location, so you cannot make location to be city plus separation plus state plus, okay, now I'm going to give us example of this. Now we want to write the address of someone. We want to write this person's address. Let me put this. We want to write this person. This person is living at Berkeley, right, in California. and zip code 94703, right? So that's the person's address, right? So maybe when you are getting this data, you only put, okay, write your city. So the city is living is Berkeley. Can you see? Then this is the comma. If you look at this comma, there is no space between this comma, right? Because we want this comma to come immediately. There shouldn't be a space between the serial and the comma. That's why there's no space. If you want a space to be there, we put that space there. So that's why it goes SEP space. Then state, California, zip code is this, right? So you can have this and you have it like that. And when you, then we can ask location now, city plus SEP plus state plus comma plus zip code. Give us Berkeley, California with this code. Right. That's you can as well look at do it this way. So location. Location. Okay, let's location 2 equals to, let's just do it. Just say, let's say Houston, right? Houston, Texas, right? 77004. So print location. Print location. Location 1. Can you see? So you can decide to save that string. We just use this to show how you can add. So when you add strings together, we did addition, subtraction for this one, but when you add strings together, it's different from when you are adding number and number, right? So it's just putting them after the other. And another way you can do it, you can just assign this Houston, Texas 77004 directly to your location. So you can do that. Now, look at this. When you are looking at zip code is not a mathematical number. It's just a number, right? So if you want to write your zip code, maybe you are getting the data and you are writing down the zip code. Zip code is not going to be as an integer. It will be as a string. And to make it a string, you have to put it in brackets.
What is this?
Hello, are you with me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this zip code isn't actually a number. It is a string of numerical character. So this zip code is 02490. And the moment you see this comma on it, another comma on top of it, you should know it's not a number, but it's a string numerical character. So let me show something. So you can't do mathematical, you cannot multiply a string. So when you multiply this, it's going to repeat this for you, this code for you in 4 places. Can you see 0249 2 1 0249 2 1? That's 2. Can you see what that? Can you see what it means? So when you multiply a string by a number, it will repeat for you many times. Let me give let's do for the location that we did. Location 1, right? Let's multiply this by 2. Can you see what happened? So what mathematical operation on this one is not going to work normally. So let's see Houston, Texas 77004, and that Houston, Texas 77004. So you cannot do calculation with that kind of normal mathematical calculation with string. You can't do it. You understand? And the same way too, when we let's say when we say the zip code, let's call it zip code 1. equals to 77004. Now, this 77004 that I have here is different from, let's make another zip code. Zip code 3 equals to 77004. Can you look at these two? So let's print. Type. What is the type of the first zip code that I have? Zip code 1, right? What is the type of the second zip code? Zip code 3, right? Yes. Now, let me print it. Okay, it's only printed for let me take this off. Now, let's see this. Now, I have zip code 1 equals to bracket 77004. Once I have a bracket, this is a string numerical character. It is not a whole number. It is not an integer or a float, right? When I ask for the type, it gives me string. Now, let me ask for type of zip code 3. This is an integer. You understand my point? So this integer, I can for mathematical calculation with it and say zip code 3 multiplied by 2, right? This is 1000. This. But if I should do that with zip code 1, look at what it's going to give to me. Zip code 1, right? Multiply by 2. Can you see the difference? Can you see? So because zip code 1 is, even though it's a number, but it's a string numerical character. So it's only repeating that in 2 places, 77004, 77004. But when I have it as integer, it multiply that by 2, normal mathematical operation. So you can't do the normal mathematical operation with a string numeric character, but you can do it with an integer numeric character. So that's what I want you to understand. Is that please clear to everybody, please? Is that please clear? Okay.
Yes.
I want
Yes.
to believe it's clear. Nobody's here. So the other time we also spoke about length. Remember this function? It gives you the number of items in a character, right? So if I click, can you see length of location is 26. So what is location? Let's know what is in location. Now, this is location. So how is this 26 coming out? Let's count this from B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So when you want to know the length of item in an item, a number of item in a variable, you can use length. So let's do one more on that. So let's also use length for one of the zip code. Let's say zip code 2. It is 3. So what is zip code? What is in zip code 2? Zip code 1 rather. Zip code 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the function of length. So you can get the n number of from an iterable object, like a string with n index notation. Remember in Python, the index starts with 0, not 1. Okay. Let me explain what that means to you. Now, if you look at, let's use this location for instance, right? Let's print out what is location. Now, that when you look at length starts by counting from 1 to the last number. That's length. But there is another number called the index. Do you get me? Index. The index is start from 0. For instance, the number of B location is 1, right? But the index of B is 0. So index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 to the end. The number starts, when you want to calculate length starts by counting the number from 1. But index starts from 0. Do you get the point now? So now, let's say you want to print out the letter within the letter from this character with index 0, 1, and 25, right? All you need to do is print location, then you use this square brackets to specify the index. Square bracket to specify the index. So index 0 is B. Can you see? Index 1 is E. Index 25 is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And that's 3. Do you see how we came across that? Is that clear to us? Is that clear? So,
Yes, sir.
okay, let's look for another index. Print location with, let's say, index 16. Sorry. Index 16, right? Hey, sorry. Index 16 is what? It's R. But if you calculate number, it's 17, but by index, it's 16, because index starts from 0. Do we get that now? Now, you can also get a subset. You know, when we put one number, it means we are getting one particular number. You can decide to say, okay, from index 2 to index 7, I want to see you. And that is exactly what we have here. So from index 2, so getting a subset from some position up to, but not include the second position is possible. So when you put from index 2 to 7, it means you want to see index 2, index 3, 4, 5, and 6, but 7 is not included. Do you get now? So what you now do is location, square bracket, start from index number 2 up to index 6. If you stop at 6, it won't include 7. So if you look at this 2, 0, 1, 2, 2 is from R, 2, A is 3, E is 4, L is 5, E is 6. Can you see? I'll tell you. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Can you see that? So if you want to start from the beginning, maybe you want to start from the first, the 0 index, you will leave that blank, and you start. So let me, before we go there, let me just try another one. Location. Let's start from, let's say, from index number 5, right? If you want to copy it up to index number 20, so if you want to copy up to number 20, that means we have to put 21. Can you see? So from index 4 to 20 is only up to California. That's A. Do you get that now? Now, if you want to start from the first 0 index, so for the 0 index, you won't put any number here. You only put colon 5. So to start from index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it's going to do. So If you want it to start from, let's start from the beginning location, right? Let's start from, so we want it to start from index 0, right, up to index 20, right? So if you want to increase index 20, that means you have to make it 21. Can you see? So only copy Berkeley, comma, space, California. Do you get that now? And if you want it to, the same way, if you want it to start from a particular index and you want it to copy it up to the last index, all you need to do is put the number of the index you want to start from, leave the other one blank. And that is what we have here. Can you see? It starts from index 5 up to the last index. You get the point now. Now, another thing that you can also do is, for instance, if you look at this place, you put Berkeley, California, right? You can decide to save that Berkeley, California, another variable. So let's call it variable 4. Let's call it location 4 rather. Location 4, right? Location 4 equals to location, right? Semicolon, location, sorry, square bracket, colon 21. So print location 4. Can you see? So from this subset of Berkeley to California, we save it to give another new variable called location 4. Can you see how we cut just Berkeley, California from Berkeley, California and the zip code? We only copy Berkeley, California and we keep it to a new location. We call it location 4. So you can use it to do a lot of subsetting in your work. So then another thing you can also do, you can replace character in a string with the replace method. Yes, you can as well replace character. Excuse me. You can replace character also in a string. For instance, we said replace in, now if you look at this, if you look at original and come, that's location. Let me, so that you can you have to see the original ones for you to understand. Location. And this is the original location, right? So we decided to say, okay, replace from this near, right? Replace it with near is good, right? And that is that. So let me use another one that is going to be clear. So let's location dot replace, right? So let's replace that 94703, right? Comma with 77004. Can you see that? So you can replace any character in that variable with an. So what you did there is to, when you put replace, location dot replace, it will tell you the first thing to do is first of all put the value you want to replace first, comma, by the value you want to use it to replace. So if you are not, you may want to ask how does you can seek for help. Replace, put this. Okay, you're supposed to give me that. Oh God. Okay, I don't know why this. I've tried to figure this out and include it in the character that we're doing. When I'm sending this to you, I don't know. I just want to show so that how you can just seek help to get those information. But what I'm saying in nutshell is you can replace you can replace a character in that string. You can replace it. So we replace this by 77004, right? Okay. So let's look at converting between. Now we can also convert between data types. For instance, you can convert a string to integer. So you can convert float to string or convert string to float, like that. So if you look at zip code, this zip code is a string. If you look at data, because it's already, can you see? It shows it's a string. We can convert it back to an integer if you want to convert it back to an integer. So all you need to do is zip underscore code, right, equals to, you put the function int at the back of it, and you put what you want to convert. Now, let me try to explain this to you. So we want to convert zip code. Zip underscore code, is a string, right? We want to convert it to an integer. And we don't want to change the variable name. We still want to retain the variable name to be zip underscore code. If you are not changing the variable name, so you put the variable name zip underscore code equals to integer. So to convert to integer, you have to put int at the beginning of it, right? In bracket zip underscore code, right? So automatically it will convert this to an integer for you. Do you understand what my point? Let me use another zip code that we have there. So let's use another zip code, but we are going to give it another variable name. Zip code. So let's use zip code 1. Let me see what is zip code 1. Okay, zip code 1. So what is the type? Zip code 1, right? Zip code 1 is string, right? So now let's convert this zip code 1 to So let's make this zip code X. I don't want to affect that. Zip code X equals to, I want to convert this zip code 1 to integer, right? And we want to save that integer in a new variable name called zip code X. So it's going to be int bracket, then the zip code 1 that I want to change, right? So let me type, what is the type now when we change it? What is type for zip code X? And you see, it's now an integer. So we converted string zip code 1 to an integer zip code X. So in this place, we change the variable name, but in this first one, the ordinary zip code, we didn't change the variable name, we still retain the variable. So you can try to you can retain the previous string, and you can also convert it to an integer and give it a new variable name. You can retain the first variable name for the string, and you can convert to an integer and give it a new name. So in this second option here, we convert it to an integer and we give it a new variable name. But in this first option, we convert to an integer and we still assign the same variable name. So this zip code is no longer a string, is an integer. But in this place, this zip code 1 is still an integer, is still a string, but we convert it to an integer, but using a new variable name called zip code X. Are you with me? Is it clear, please? Is it clear? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So now, because we've converted it to integer, we can now perform mathematical work on it. So when you multiply that zip 2492 by multiply by 2, it will give us 49848. Can you see? Because it has been converted to what? To an integer. But if it's not converted, if it's still a string, it will only repeat this twice. Okay. So the same way you can also do x equals to 3, print x raised to power 2 that we've done, y equals to string, right? So print now. Okay, let me explain what is happening here now. We have x equals to 3, right? So we said print x multiplied by 2. So 3 multiplied by 2 is 6, right? So we now have y. We now make y to be equals to, we now convert the converted x, which is an integer, we convert it to a string. So when you want to convert an integer to a string, it's going to, no, let me cut this out so that you can understand this, please. Okay, now x equals to 3, right? So 3 is an integer. So when we print x multiplied by 2 is equal to 6, right? Now let's now do this. So now let's now form y. Y equals to, right? So y is not going to be, so we want to convert this x to a string now. We want to convert x to a string and want to give the variable to be y. So first, when you want to convert integer to a string, you use str. When you want to convert a string to an integer, you use int. So in brackets x, right? So now if I should make, so what is y? Y is 3. So if I want to perform mathematical work, because it is an integer, so like y multiplied by 3 is going to give me 333 because y is a string now. It's not an integer. Do we get that now? So let's stop here. I'm going to forward this to you guys. Let me. So now I've done everything now. I see what I don't want to lose it. All you just need to do, come to file, click on download, and click on save download as notebook. So when you save it as notebook, click on it, it will automatically download for you. So when you go to your, so when you download, you can go to your Anaconda this point and navigate to where you have it on download, and you can open it and you can start doing your own work on it. Is it clear to us? Any question? Do you have any question, please?
No.
Okay. If there is no question, we are going to stop here today. And by the grace of God, when we meet next Friday, we are going to continue this other aspect of it. And either me or Dr. Scott, we take the next part of that. Do we have any question from anybody, please? Before we close. So hope to see you guys next week. Yeah. So
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any question from